like it.
Are those new underwear? That's nice.
No, they're old, but thanks for noticing. Once in a lifetime.
I love that.
This video and all content is made possible by our Patreon subscribers. For $3 a month, you can help keep the lights on here at From North to Wharf. Thank you for your ongoing support. And if you would like your own From North to Wharf merchandise, head to fromnorthtowharf.threadless.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of From the Great North to Wonder Wharf, your unofficial but verified one-stop destination for bento box information. As always, I am Mike.
And I'm JB. How's everyone doing?
Hey, everyone. Hey, Yahoo. Christine, go charge your battery. What are you doing?
Yeah,
We're here every Monday at 8. This is on you. You should have charged your phone.
Yeah, priorities.
Hey, RVA. Hey, AJ. Welcome over from Instagram. Pretty straightforward episode. I mean, today we only have 2 episodes to discuss. We have a fun discussion that should be very intriguing to hear what the audience has to say. Hey, Bobbist. And then, I mean, no real news to really discuss.
No, not really.
The Pride line was revealed at QCon this past weekend. It is not online just yet. Hey, Cello. It's not online just yet. But hopefully sometime this week. We'll see.
Yep. As soon as we know, you will know.
Yeah. Hey, JZG. It's been a minute since you've been on one of our lives, ain't it? I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute.
They've been crocheting or knitting, whichever it is.
Getting ready for
the wiggle room.
Burger Base. Which is, of course, for those of you who don't know, I hate this collar fucking curls up. Burger Base is the wiggle room-esque rave that's happening at San Diego Comic-Con this year that we are involved with or going to. Not quite sure.
I think going to is definitely happening and somewhat involved.
Yeah, I mean, I made the graphics for the reveal, but beyond that, I'm not sure what are. I know we have a guest list. I know we have a couple people that will be put on our guest list, to include one person who already has a ticket. Looking at you, JZG. But beyond that, I mean, we're getting ready for Comic-Con ourselves. Made some friendship bracelets that will be given out. Me and JB have already behind the scenes discussed trivia, potential panel, the fan meetup. Daily giveaways that we'll be doing as From North to Wharf. So very busy time for us. We only got about 2 months to get everything together. And it is insane. But for those of you who are fairly new to North to Wharf, every year when we go to Comic-Con, we do live streams from the con floor, live streams at the end of each night to recap. This year, we may be doing more live streams behind the scenes. So
the idea is maybe even more like Billy on the Street a little bit, where we just kind of find fans in Bob's cosplay and ask them some trivia questions. And you get like something small, like a button or something. We're like, all right, gotta go by, and like run away and just find someone else. It's like, you saw us, now we're gone.
So it should be fun, hectic and tiring, but fun. And of course, JZG is going to be her first one, so we're going to show her a good time and show her exactly how we do Comic-Con. So it should be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for this year and just the amount of stuff that we're going to be doing, because we really are going to try to make it more interactive with you guys as much as we can.
each year we try to do more than we did the year before. I don't know how that's possible, but we're gonna try our damnedest. So, yeah, as far as news goes, it looks like I don't have Futon Critic pulled up in front of me, but it looks like while Bob's will premiere on the 29th of May, the first episode is actually going to be on the 18th, which should be Mr. Fishoder's Opus, I believe is May 18th.
Oh, that's snuck in there.
And then beyond that, I think they go back to the normal Thursday 29th, which I don't know which episode that is just yet. Let me see. I'm trying to pull stuff up as I talk here. Hey, Marlena. How are you?
Take a look too and see if I find anything in particular.
Futon Critic, if you will load. So Futon Critic has is on the 18th for Mr. Fishoder's Opus and the 29th. And then from there, it looks like every Thursday after that. No idea what the summer premiere is just yet, but May 18th, 9:31 p.m. on a Sunday. So this one's actually on a Sunday. Will be Mr. Fishoder's Opus.
I wonder if that's the last one for the last Sunday, at least for quite a while.
Oh yeah, that'll be that's the final Sunday, and then we go from Thursdays after that. So it looks like 11 days after that is when the episodes will come back up.
Yeah. Says Yahoo says that they have the wrong synopsis on Futon. They have advice things, which was back in December. That's the Tina advice column one.
I'm on Futon Critic right now. It says Mr. Fishoder's Opus.
It up.
Yeah.
No, it says that, but the synopsis for the episode is wrong.
No.
Well, hopefully he didn't mess it up and like it's not Opus and it's actually just a repeat.
So are y'all gonna be changing your night for lives when they change to Thursdays? No. Unless our personal schedules change, I think we'll still continue to be on Mondays.
Yeah, it'd be pretty rough to try to do something on a Friday. Plus, you guys have plans.
Yeah. And like I said, we got personal lives too, and we've kind of carved out Mondays, and our significant others understand Mondays. And so peek behind the curtain. That's how this can happen. It is
exactly like
compromises.
That's how it all works.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm downstairs until 7:30 watching my son, and then my wife comes back from her job, takes him and starts giving him dinner, and then I come up here.
Yeah. So
Mike gets himself dinner.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on even 30 minutes before we go on the air that can't easily change to another day. So no, we are not changing our stream days. Plus, that would screw up everybody else who you are regulars who expect it to be on Monday. So
just want to plan that. That makes sense. That's fine. We wish it was that simple to switch it, but at this point, Monday nights are fun too, honestly. There's like Mondays are like the worst nights. We're like, why not just do it Monday nights and have something fun to talk about? And
really, the only time we'd ever change it is if something personal comes up on a Monday. So beyond that, Monday is our day, barring catastrophe.
See.
Let's see. No real news beyond that. Still no word on the Great North. We've heard from folks on the show and behind the scenes that nobody's heard any inklings.
Nope.
Even the Molyneux sisters are left in the dark right now. So who knows?
I just would say keep watching it, especially on Hulu. Drive up the numbers. Let them see what's going on, that you really like it. Keep watching it.
Support
it.
My only silver lining is if nobody knows, that means a decision hasn't been made yet.
Yeah.
And if a decision, or for the most part, a decision hasn't been made. And if a decision hasn't been made, then it is equally possible that season 6 is happening as it is that season 6 isn't happening. So
let's keep our fingers crossed for good things.
Yes.
If you didn't know, I posted my pin video on Patreon. So if you're not a subscriber, sorry, but at some point it will probably go to YouTube. But
that'll go up on YouTube on this Friday.
Just give you a little sneak peek. One person in particular was very upset that they didn't have one of the pins that we have. So they didn't know about it. So that's also something I guess we could talk about if we wanted to, is the one pin, the good pin.
I think it's limited to 100.
I don't remember how many.
I think about 100.
This is the Meat Man Meetup pin.
Yeah.
We were lucky enough to get to hand these out up at the meetup. People at Bob's trusted us enough to hand these out to fans and said make sure the fans get them. So we handed them out to everybody who came to the meetup. Everybody got one. And then we had about 5 left over, and we handed those out to people once we saw them posting online. Like, I have the whole set. We were like, well, you're missing one.
Mm-hmm.
Give us your address and we'll send it to you. So we got rid of those 5 as well. And we made some people pretty happy about that because they're like, they couldn't find them online. I think we only found one on eBay.
We found one on eBay. And of course I messaged that person.
I feel like there was some scolding
whatever
that happened, but
yeah, whatever. Chella says, how's Queen Abby? We miss her and adore her. Abby is doing good. She is doing her thing, and if and when she wants to come back, she'll be back. She's still in our chat on Discord, but yeah, she's all I can say is she's doing good.
I think life just got busy. It happens.
Yeah, she's a 20-something-year-old lady, and sometimes life just happens. But we do pass on your all's well wishes and love, so it is not going unnoticed. So we're just waiting for the color of the smoke. Then essentially, that's what we're waiting on for the Great North. But I think we'll get a new
privy to the conclave. Then yes, that's what we're waiting for, the white smoke.
What's wild is not even the Molyneux know.
Yeah,
they're the showrunners.
I know.
So I don't know. I guess right now no news is good news.
Yeah, that's kind of how we're looking at it.
But I gotta figure we're gonna hear something before Comic-Con.
That's what I would think, because then it's either panel or no panel.
Yeah, and I mean they have to have time in order to. I mean, unless they get renewed for a 6 and it's not going to premiere until the summer, because they'd have to be in production now to do a fall release.
That's true. Maybe that is the plan ultimately, is that they are going to split up the animation domination block into a summer.
Yeah, because we know all the seasons are 15 episodes. And like I said, if they go 15 straight, then I mean, well, I don't know.
I mean, maybe it is like, because I mean, Alaska does kind of have the 2 seasons of like, it's either really warm and nice or it's cold and snowy and frigid. And maybe it makes sense to just have summer and winter as your schedule, because then your episodes can kind of coincide with that.
Yeah. That's giving the scheduling people.
I know it is a lot of credit. Way too much credit.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, now that we say it out loud, maybe that's the possibility. They get renewed for a season 6 for a summer release.
Because maybe they're headlining the summer because the numbers look pretty good.
Because I wonder if this summer is a test run for what they'll do next summer. Yeah. And maybe next summer is Great North. And another show goes on a break. Or maybe they flip-flop with something else. I don't know. Nobody knows at this point.
No.
Let's see. Might as well go or move it to Hulu as a possible choice if it does get renewed. If you saw the Deadline article, I don't remember what their position was within Disney. I think it is, but Hulu, they're looking at Hulu, but it's just a matter of what the numbers look like. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think folks forget that these shows do cost money to make. So it's not as simple as like, oh, just move it to Hulu. But on the plus side, in that article, the gentleman who, again, I think he's with Disney, said that it's a show that the execs love, the networks love. It's just a matter of if the fans show up to watch it. And at the end of the day, that's the same for any show. If the fans aren't showing up, regardless of how well it's received critically, it doesn't matter. Because again, I don't know how much per episode costs, but they're not just going to bleed money.
Because I mean, if just other examples of other shows that we've seen, like there's been a ton of them on Netflix. They were really well reviewed, up for Annie Awards, up for all kinds of things, and they didn't get renewed because not enough people watched it. People were nervous that Side Effects was not going to get renewed because they weren't sure if everyone was going to watch it or not. Scavenger Reign is still waiting to be renewed.
Mm-hmm.
We're waiting to see and hear when Blue-Eyed Samurai season 2 comes out or not.
Mm-hmm.
Arcane even got shut down, and it literally won awards all
Mm-hmm.
over the place. So it costs money to make these shows, and as Mike has brought up before, which is a really good point, is advertising. If you pay Hulu to not have commercials like we do,
Mm-hmm.
but unfortunately they don't divvy it up to the shows that we're watching. To be like, oh, like Mike and JB are watching like Bob's in the Great North, so make sure we throw some like change their way. It's like they don't do that; they just keep it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's no advertising to help support it. So then they look towards merchandising, and if they're not able to merch the show, then they're not going to make a lot of money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes hard then to figure out how to like support it.
Yeah. So unless you're a legacy show like Bob's or Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad, not so much, but Family Guy at least, it's an uphill battle for you. So I don't know. A couple folks that I have chatted with saying they're hoping to hear something this month, but I mean, it's anybody's guess at this point. So
because then I'm sure then it becomes looking for work kind of thing.
Yeah, because at some point you can no longer sit around and wait. You got to move on to a for sure gig that includes the voice cast.
Yeah.
So even if they get renewed, it may be pushed back just because the actors aren't available.
Because that probably, if you loved Central Park, that may have been part of what happened. Is that since they were just kind of waiting to find out, they were like, Josh Gad's busy, Andrew Reynolds is busy, like. Stanley Tucci's doing his own stuff. Everybody started doing their own thing because they're like, well, we don't know what's going on, so we just got to stay busy and stay working.
Just clocked out. Time turn up. Hey, there you go. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's a shitty predicament that we find ourselves in, but unfortunately, there's nothing we can do but sit and wait. And wait we shall. And if we hear something before anything's officially said, and we're allowed to say it, then we'll say something. But until then, we're just as much in the dark as the folks on the show, which is not a fun place to be. But yeah, that's really all the news I got. You got anything?
No, that's pretty much all I can think about. Because really, once we do con, we'll have more stuff to tell you and things like that from the show floor, and then what we can tell you about premieres and things. After that, it's going to be waiting for the book, the Bob's
Burgers
in
Art September.
Book in September. So, and then we should have hopefully episodes, but we don't know. We're not exactly sure what the schedule looks like. So it could just be an interesting time. Could be lots of interviews and trivia and trying to like make up time with all the space that's there, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. But the important thing to remember is there is new episodes to be seen.
Yes.
And we will see them. And in fact, we will be having conversations with a lot of the creatives from some of the coming episodes here in the next couple of weeks. I think we're locking in somebody from the Great North. I think we got 2 that we have to schedule for Bob's. One of them being our good friend Aaron, of course, to talk Mr. Fisher's Opus. And then Brian Wiley to come on and discuss his episode that he wrote, his first written credit. So yeah, that's some of the things coming in a couple weeks. But for now, we have a new episode of Crapopolis and the Great North to discuss. So let's talk those.
All right, let me get the synopsis up for Crapopolis real quick. All right, so this is season 2, episode 20, Love Week. Ty gets a second chance at romance with Tina. Hippo and Stoop let love come between them, and Schlub finds a new love, winning. That's all it says. They're very light on the synopsises for Crapopolis.
Yeah. This episode
might be in the same boat with this.
This episode did nothing for me.
Yeah.
It was light on synopsis. It was light on story.
I think this was another competition of there was just too much. They were trying to squeeze in this,
but that's the thing. I don't think there was. I think it was just essentially the same story from 3 different perspectives. And it just wasn't a interesting enough story. Like it needed a B plot. But everybody was involved in the A plot, and it just fell flat.
It's almost like they were trying to do a triptych. It just didn't work out. In my thoughts, and it's just. Again, cool idea, good concept, 3 different perspectives. We talked about doing that with Bob's. It hasn't happened. But again, as you said, this didn't really do anything for me.
No.
And I really like Crapopolis. And I just feel like this is one of those episodes that's just kind of like, it felt filler-ish.
Yeah. And given that I think we have 2 more after this. So it's not the penultimate episode, but I mean it's close to the end of the season. I don't know. It just felt like I'll just put this one out there. I don't know. But yeah, it wasn't for me at the end of the day.
There was some good lines and things, but again, this was like too much infighting between them about kind of nothing. I mean, we've had some pretty good episodes. I'm trying to think of the titles for like the past couple.
Uh-oh, he froze everybody. He froze. He's never come back. We'll wait till he comes back. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like the whole lovesick thing and Cupid's arrow, and it did nothing. And maybe if like one person wasn't affected, like maybe if Hippo wasn't affected at all, it was kind of like trying to snap everybody out of it. Maybe that would have been a better B plot. But no, I didn't. I don't know. It fell very flat for me. There you go. Yeah, the weekly dose of JB crashing. I'm glad you all noticed it. I'm glad it's not just me. JB down. JB's always down, everybody. JB's down. He's crashing. He's a
dude. It booted me. Like I had to re-sign in.
Yeah, everybody noticed. AJ said the weekly dose of JB crashing. RVA says JB down. Yep. I don't know. But
it was weird.
I was mentioning to the audience there, I would have liked it if one character wasn't affected by the love spell, like maybe Hippo, and it was trying to snap everybody out of it. But I mean,
that actually would have been funny. I would have liked that because logic over love would have been a good plot.
But yeah, I got nothing.
This is one of the episodes that, I mean, I love talking about Crapopolis with people and trying to share it, but this is not an episode I would recommend people to share to and be like, watch this one. This will get you hooked.
Yeah.
This is one that, I mean, every season of like even Simpsons, Bob's, whatever the legacy shows have one of these episodes, and maybe this is just the one.
Yeah. I honestly don't have much else to say unless you do.
We can move to the Great North.
Yeah, that brings us to the Great North.
So for the Great North this week, another interesting episode of the Great North. This is Jay Caston's second, I believe, writing credit. And this is Ant Dirt's role-playing. And basically it's Dungeon Ant Dragons Adventure. Ant Dirt's interest in a role-playing game leads to a quest for vengeance. And then Beef is overtaken by a fascination in bead crafts.
Yes. Essentially, this is a D&D episode. Lizards in the library. There he goes again, folks. There he goes again. You know what?
I don't understand. I don't.
Lizards in the library, everybody. It's a D&D episode, which is fun. I've only played D&D like once or twice, and I have like a rudimentary understanding of the rules. Rudimentary, I think that's the term to look for. But I don't really get it. It seems essentially it's just storytelling, and you're at the whim of a dungeon master. So that's
very much so, but it's an interactive game.
But it seems like no matter what you do, it doesn't matter if the dungeon master doesn't want you to proceed. Then he's like, "Oh nope, sorry." Even if you roll like a nat 20 or something. So I don't know.
You had a horrible dungeon master.
No, that just seems like in general.
Ours was usually pretty flexible. Like if you rolled a crit 20, it's like, yeah, you get it. Do it.
Yeah, but essentially, like if the dungeon master says, "Oh no, that didn't work," they can essentially do that.
Potentially, yes, they can do that.
Yeah.
It's their choice, but it's like, unless they have a super direct reason why.
Yeah. So, but essentially, much like the points in Whose Line Is It Anyway, your moves mean nothing if this person here doesn't want them to mean anything. Yeah. So Let's see what's going on in the chat log. JB, if you don't want to co-host anymore, let me know or get it together.
Harsh.
Mike said, "Fuck you, JB." Nope, not yet.
Just joshing kindly.
OMG, I love this episode. D&D type. Yeah, I would. I think I would like, because I was messaging Jay actually earlier. And I told him, because I filled out one of the character sheets that he had put up for everyone to fill out their own characters. I was like, hey, I've never played before. And he's like, oh, we'll definitely discuss this when I come on. So maybe we can get like an online D&D game together, and he can teach me how the hell to play.
That would be very cool. I mean, we tried to with Mages and Monsters. It was just, there's a lot of coordination.
There is so much coordinating. He's frozen again. He can figure it out. Unfreeze that. Unfreeze that. You know, he can sit there for a second. He can sit in purgatory for a second. Yeah, we need to find... We wanted to do a D&D game together with a bunch of folks, but it was a lot of coordinating. We needed a DM. We needed steady internet connection. And it really wouldn't have happened if we wanted it to. But there you go. So maybe, just maybe, we'll figure out an in-person D&D kind of thing. Beef getting infatuated thing is always great. Yeah. But yeah, all in all, I dug the episode. I really like Beef getting into beads. Didn't really understand it because there wasn't any
really rhyme or reason for it.
There was no end game. Yeah, I could see if he was trying to impress somebody, but just randomly wanting to set up his room like a boudoir didn't really make sense. Maybe if it was Alice and he was trying to like seduce somebody.
Made sense. Or like if he was trying to get the poet who's more artsy, and he's like, that would be something she's interested in. But the bead lady also sold them.
It was very much a cult.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't understand his reasoning, because he doesn't seem like he's trying to go after anybody at the moment. He's not trying to get with anybody. So why that was the thing that sold him on getting the beads is beyond me.
It was fine, but part of me wanted the like Lizards in the Library to be the focus of the whole episode. And I almost wanted them never to leave that world. And like the storytelling was through the Lizards in the Library. Like their quest told the story.
I'm going to be honest. The Lizards in the Library, when they were in that world, was probably my least favorite part of the episode.
What?
I loved Dirt being rightfully upset with the kids.
That was fun.
Yeah. I enjoyed her being rightfully upset with them. Bobbis, next week. JB is fired. There you go. I enjoyed her being mad. I enjoyed the family's slow descent into madness with the beads. And honestly, the D&D world of it all was kind of afterthought. Not like an afterthought, like they didn't really take their time with it, but that was just it was just a small part of the A plot line. Like it was mainly Dirt being upset that they played without her, not so much the game itself.
Because she's fine with the game. It's entertaining enough. She likes it. She likes spending time with them. It's more like how she got hurt, and it reminded her of being hurt as a kid.
We did get a lot of, well, not a lot, but we got some Dirt backstory.
Looks like we got to see, I'm trying to think, was that Beef's parents or was that their grandparents?
Oh, grandparents, right? Because Aunt Dirt is Beef's aunt, right?
Great Aunt Dirt, yeah, I think so.
So that would have been Beef's grandparents.
It's rough. It kind of lets you know how Beef's parents probably were, because I'm sure that apple didn't fall too far from the tree.
Crafters often make crap we don't need. You could have stopped there. You are absolutely right. Just change the FT to a P, and you got a bunch of the stuff they make. JB, come back. Get off of the NU. This isn't the arrow. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Cello. There he goes again. Did he freeze? Oh, no, he didn't freeze. Okay. He just freed. Same with Legos. Couldn't tell you. Legos ain't my bag.
Some people love it. and it's their whole life.
That's fine if you got
It's
the
not mine.
patience
It's an
for it,
expensive
but
hobby.
expensive. But good on those who love to do it. I like puzzles, and Lego is essentially a puzzle. But
I mean, I like putting them together, but I don't want to pay for them.
no,
Like at Comic-Con, Todd was like, "Do you want to put this Minecraft Lego together?" And I was like, "Yes, I do."
I gave him the finger, and I'm like, no.
It took an hour to put that thing together, but it was really cool. But then afterwards, my fingertips hurt so bad from all those little pieces.
I would have counted all the pins for a third time over instead of doing that.
I know. There were plenty of you that were like, "No, we're good," but I was like, "No, this is a job that I can do."
But yeah, all in all, really dug the episode. The Yeti was very easy to find this week.
Mm-hmm.
A white Yeti on a brown background is pretty easy to spot.
Stands out.
Yeah. But yeah, all in all, really like the episode. What was your favorite part? I guarantee you it's not the same as mine, but I want to see what your favorite part was.
So it was one of Aunt Dirt's pranks.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the pinch one. I thought was great because then Gibbons is like, "All right, boys, get out the window and just run," because like the kids are gonna go wild and try to pinch you like crazy. I liked the fire alarm gag. I thought that was pretty good. The pizza one where she just throws pizza in their face, I was like, that's also fun as well.
I want more Joe Dinkum. I legit have a crush on that old man. You need to go take a cold shower, JZG. Calm it down. Calm it down. Judy in her unfinished craft room was hilarious. Yeah. Like, you couldn't see the Yeti? Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. I'm the Asian. I have this.
There's a whole YouTube looking for the Yeti, so you can find them.
There's a YouTube?
And I'm just kidding. Like, there's a whole bunch of people looking for the Yeti. They'll let you know. They're hard to find. Yeah,
or if you check our page, we usually post it Monday evening when we get back from work. Yes, my favorite part, and it's probably something folks didn't notice, mainly because it's not the main joke in the scene. It's a background thing that's happening. When Ham and Judy come back and the family's all making the beads and stuff.
When they fall.
Yeah, they fall.
Oh,
yeah, but that's not it. It's Judy's talking, and we just see Ham laying on the ground, but he's slowly moving. He's slowly rolling away, and it happens throughout the entire scene, and that is the funniest thing to me. Just the level of detail and dedication to just like you don't even notice it if you're not looking.
Christine brings up a good point too. I was curious about that. He's a fisherman. He knots his own nets, yet he didn't know how to do knots on the beads.
Here's what I would say to that.
It might be different.
I would say a knot on a rope is different than a knot on a string. But then you would probably say, well, he fishes, and that's essentially fishing line. He fishes with nets. So that's my. It's not a good argument. I'll give you that. I am floundering for that one. Pun intended.
Ooh, nice. Slipped it in there.
But perhaps he was just overcome with the.
That he finished it. That he was so excited he just didn't really tighten it.
Just the beads. Maybe he just like forgot how to do anything. Maybe it was just like bead crazy. Excuse me. Oh, RVA noticed. Yeah, that was fun. So yeah, I think it's a better than base episode.
I agree.
Great. I wouldn't say great, but I enjoyed it very much.
I enjoyed it. I really liked the background story. I think the Great North is really hitting their stride with telling stories and really hitting like background and getting not the feels, but really kind of showing you the world to help you kind of elaborate on it more. And getting more from Aunt Dirt, I think, is good because if you keep her doing what she's doing, she becomes like almost a single-sided character. There's only like the sassy Aunt Dirt. We got to actually see that Aunt Dirt's the way she is because of something that happened to her. Yeah, it kind of explains. Well, I mean, she was always that rough around the edges kind of thing. Yahoo says, but then you'd have to make a friendship bracelet than making a curd. My friend, talk about friendship bracelets. We're talking about friendship bracelets, my man. Talk about friendship bracelets. Friendship bracelets?
Got friendship bracelets out the ass over here.
We get so many friendship bracelets at con. There's no room.
Let's see. Nope, can't say that one out loud. My friend
It makes me
made
a little
some that
nervous that we're handing these out. I can't say that one.
Can't say that one. What's this one say? Oh, this one says citrus your ass down. Doesn't really make sense, but we may give that one away. We'll see. There's one in here that just says penis. So
Why?
who knows? What are the beads for to make bracelets? These? Oh, the beads in the show. You can make a curtain, to make a suit.
Yeah, they're
Met
making Met Gala suits. They're making all kinds of stuff.
Speaking
Looks
of
like
the Met
bras
Gala,
were hanging up on the hook until Aunt Dirt slammed the door.
But yeah, dug the episode. So that's really all I got for that one.
I enjoyed it. I look forward to talking to Jay about it.
Yes. Should be fun. Should be fun. I think that's going to be in about 2 weeks, give or take. A little less than 2 weeks.
Finally got him on. We were going to have him on before, but then he had a baby.
Yeah, he had a baby. So that brings us to our weekly discussion. Each week, JB and myself will pick a topic that we want to chat about at length. Sometimes it's lighthearted. Last week, we talked about our ideas and theories on episode 300. We thought that was a really good discussion that we had there, and it involved the audience, and everybody was having a good time there. So this week, we're doing the same thing. May 26th, I think it's 26th or 27th, marks the 3rd year anniversary of the Bob's Burgers movie. We know it. We love it. We've seen it tons of times. It's fantastic. Box office numbers be damned. It is fantastic. And there's always talk of a sequel. Are they going to do another one? What's the story if they do another one? Well, another one. So we thought we would pitch our ideas and discuss A, the viability of doing another Bob's Burgers movie. B, what would that story be? So that's essentially what we're going to chat about for the remainder of the show. Don't worry, we do have a Lone Moose Minute. Oh, should we do that before we get into
We probably should do that before we do this, yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will just be irrelevant.
Yes. So let's jump into the Lone Moose Minute, and I'll have some things to say about this. I haven't seen his bit just yet, but we may do a follow-up real quick.
Okay.
Here we go, Lone Moose Minute from Sam.
Good evening, everyone. Sam here, aka to Lone Moose and back, aka Samson the Destroyer, as I've decided my Lizards in the Library character would be called. Back again with another edition of the Lone Moose Minute, here on From North to Wharf. Or after what I thought was quite a dud of an episode last week, the Great North returned with a big bang last night in the form of Dungeons Aren't Dragons Adventure. And what an adventure it was from beginning to end. We finally got to see Lizards in the Library in action after being first mentioned all the way back in Season 2's Skidmark Holmes adventure. And it was just really fun to see the game in action and an unlikely but good group, in my opinion, of Ant, Dirt, Moon, Henry and Russell bonding over it. I really liked the different animation style that the crew went for with the Lizards in the Library segments. This season has really experimented with the different looks, and I've liked that. Like in Honeybee's story and the Lies Aquatic, and the more anime look we got in last week's end credits, just to name a couple of examples. But I also liked learning more about Aunt Dirt and her background. We got to see what she was like as a kid. Hasn't really changed much. We also saw her dad, so Beef's grandfather, and I'm guessing son of Rutger Tobin, who was mentioned in For Whom the Smell Tells Part 2 back in Season 3. And we also got to see a old configuration, that's the word I'm trying to find, configuration of the Tobin house as well before all the extensions were added and the modern look that we are used to. But it was also good to learn why it was difficult for her to accept that the boys replaced her with Loud Sandy's brother Calm Callum for one round, because it reminded her of when the same happened to her as a child with her friends when she was replaced. So with that, it really does make you connect and understand why she found it so difficult. Also, Russell once again on fire with some hilarious dialogue, like saying about his sensei telling him about menopause and how Jamie's life flashed before his eyes. He does love his mum's boyfriend, doesn't he? I mean, it's not like he doesn't go on about it enough, is it? But the B plot, or I guess I should be saying bead plot, was also highly enjoyable. I liked seeing Beef getting lured by the idea of a beaded curtain in his boudoir, just going into the store, sort of the woman talking him into it while he's at the mall. And then Wolf and Honeybee with the ensembles and tuxbetos, as Wolf called them, and making them for the Met Gala. And then when they're sat around the table looking absolutely shattered because they probably haven't slept all night. That was quite highly entertaining as well. And the conclusion to all of that was pretty funny too. So yes, a very good episode to make up for last week's. And I'm going to be giving Dungeons Aren't Dragons Adventure a solid 8 out of 10. And just before I hand you back to our wonderful hosts, I just want to take a minute to say that today I made the incredibly tough decision, after nearly 2 years of running the Talone Moose and Back pages, to close them down on Instagram and Twitter. Now, trust me in saying that this was a decision that wasn't made lightly, but I felt that due to me finding it hard to maintain, plus the fact that I wasn't really enjoying running it as much as I used to, it was the right time to wind it down. So I'd just like to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you for showing your support towards myself and the page. It really did mean a lot to me, and I am so grateful to have shared my love for this incredible show with very passionate fans, as well as those involved with making it. So yes, big massive thank you to you. But I won't be leaving my spot here on the Lone Moose Minute, and I will be back next week to talk about the final episode before the show goes on a little break, that being Sunset Beefalavad Adventure. But until then, have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you again next Monday with another edition.
There you go. Thank you very much, Sam.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to freeze again. Look at him. He's freezing again. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, as Sam said, he did shut down the pages for Talone Moose and Back. I get it. I understand why he did it. I have been in the same position where the thing you love doing has now become maybe a chore is not the right word, but it's not as fun as it was at the beginning. So I get that. Sometime for your mentals, you kind of have to take a step back and take care of yourself. So, but Sam isn't going anywhere. He will, at least not on our show. He'll still be here every week, just like you said, discussing the Great North. Just it won't be on Instagram and Twitter, which is fine. Like I said, I get it. I've been there before. For those of you who don't know, I used to do Let Us Catch Up, which is a Bob's Burgers podcast and Instagram page. And after like 2 or 3 years of doing that, I got completely burnt out, and it no longer was fun. So I made the decision to kill those pages as well. And yeah, sometimes you just gotta know when you're doing something because you love doing it or because people expect you to do it. And if people expect you to do it, then that's the right time to hang it up. Oh, you're back. Hello.
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 But yes, that was Sam for his Lone Moose Minute segment, and he'll be back next week. But as far as our discussion, hopefully we can have it. We shall see.
I hope so. I checked my speeds. They're all good. So I'm not really sure what's going on. So.
A Bob's Burgers movie sequel. JB, first let me ask you, do you think it is not a financially responsible option? Because clearly it's not. Do you think there is another story to be told on the big screen?
I mean, I'm always going to say yes to that, especially for Bob's. I think there's plenty of big stories you could tell. I mean, Disney hasn't really been hitting home runs with like Snow White. And,
well, those are their live action movies, and those have never made.
But they canned them all. At this point, they're not making. Like Lilo is the last one they're gonna make. They already canned Tangled and a couple others because like these just aren't doing it.
Oh, Lilo and Stitch. Or I think Moana is getting a live action one too.
I think those are the last ones that were like they're like, yeah, those are fine, keep them. The rest are like, no, we're not doing it.
But let's be honest. Snow White. That shit the bed. That shit the bed for other reasons beyond it not being a good movie.
Yeah. From what everyone said, it literally was like there was nothing new to the story. And I think Bob's could tell a bunch of stories literally they could do a whole version of Snow White using Bob's Burgers, and people would probably show up more to watch that than the movie itself that just got put out.
Snow White failed not because of the story it told, but it died before it came out.
Oh yeah, it was dead on arrival.
It was dead because there was just too much controversy surrounding it, and it was going to be a flop, even if it was the greatest story ever told.
Yes.
There was no way it was going to succeed.
No.
AJ says, I have April Fool's PTSD from the Bob's Burgers #2. Thanks, guys. Hey, for what it's worth, me and JB went back and forth saying, do we do this? Do we not do this? Do we not do this?
We were tame compared to, there were some people on the show that they're responsible for the ones that were like, the show gets canceled. They just put that out there.
And once we saw that,
their minds,
that gave us the green light. So we were like, bet. We did it.
A movie, like, we would love for that to happen. That's a good joke to happen. But like, they were like, show gets canceled, no reason why. And it was just like, oh.
And I'll say this, I do not apologize for that. I do not apologize for that post. I put April Fools on there 3 separate times, and I pointed them out. And people were still responding to the post where I pointed them out, going, "Is this really happening?" I was like, I can't with you. It's just going to be terrifying. It's also going to fail miserably because these movies, nobody wants live actions of these movies.
No, they don't. But we keep putting them out there.
But
we're talking about Bob's Burgers.
You think there is the potential for a bigger story to be told in the Bob's universe?
I do. I think there's a couple stories that could be told, and you don't have to age the Belchers to tell the stories. I mean, even some of these episodes were like, oh, they could have expanded on that. That could have been a cool 2-parter. That could have been this. Because really, if you're looking at a movie, you're looking at maybe at like 3 episodes and a little extra, maybe 4 total.
I would say, given the run times, 4 to 5 episodes if we're being realistic, because 3 episodes is an hour, roughly.
Yeah, 4 is 88. So you're looking at like
you're looking at
101.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like 5 episodes long.
Yeah. So what would you like to see in a Bob's Burgers movie sequel?
Well, I think the show has done a lot of like the mystery piece of who done it and those kind of things. So I don't know if we need to stay with those per se. We've already done someone getting murdered and someone trying to get rid of the Belchers. I think what we need to do is maybe do some background and do a little bit more of like developing a story where maybe the Belchers leave Ocean Avenue a little bit. Maybe they go somewhere else. Maybe we step out of our comfort zone a little bit. Maybe the Belchers go on an American trip, or maybe we get to watch them try to get to Al and Gloria's, and they have all the mishaps along the way.
The only thing I would get hung up on that one, and you would lose 90% of your cast.
But we could meet 90% new cast.
But would we though? Like if they're traveling, yeah, maybe you'll meet somebody at a gas station, maybe somebody at a hotel. I could see, because we had the episode where they went on a road trip with Nat. And that was fun. They didn't really meet too many new people there. And when Bob went with Teddy to deliver the giant head, we met some fun characters there. And I'd like to see the Belchers on a road trip. I think that'd be really fun.
Because my one idea that I thought could be fun, and like Rugrats and a lot of the Nicktoons did these movies where they did big elaborate plots. And I don't know if it needs to be super elaborate, but if we were gonna do one, I'd be fine with Teddy marrying Kathleen, and she wants to be married back home. So the Belchers are getting on a plane and they're going over to Scotland, and it's going to be a whole thing over there because Teddy really wants them to go.
But that's too unrealistic in the world of Bob's, though, because I was just watching the Hope and Mike night, and they were fretting over $200.
That's why I'm like, it has to be something not super crazy like flying, unless the plane tickets are paid for. It needs to be something. It needs to be something where money would, I guess. That's why I thought road trip might be a better idea, because that's something they can manage.
Yeah, because they've done it before. I don't know, because the first movie, it already took place in the summer, so you don't really need a summer movie at that point. It did a murder mystery, so it kind of took one of the biggest like tropes in movies and took that away. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing another summer movie, but involving mostly the kids. Stand By Me kind of thing, even though that was essentially this one too. Luis discovers a dead body. Or the Goonies or something like that, which
Mhm.
is obviously
Belches, yeah.
Lauren took inspiration from those kind of flicks. But I mean, at the same time, I wouldn't mind if we went out of the summer and maybe we were more of a wintertime movie.
Yeah, that could work.
I mean, there's other stories to be told, but I mean, I guess since it involves the children, summer just kind of makes sense.
Because
They're
they'd be on vacation.
Yeah, they're an oceanside town. So yeah, I mean, obviously, as a fan, I would love to see another movie, but I just don't want it to feel like extra long episode.
Yeah.
I
I
know
like what Toasty's saying.
What's that?
Toasty one brought up, unless like the cast is going to like on a road trip and they're trying to beat out the Pestos. That was a plot that was on a Pete and Pete episode where it was like the Wrigleys versus this perfect family. And they just would race down the highway, trying to get to each stop faster and faster, stacking luggage better than the other car. Like it could be fun where they're just trying to compete with each other.
Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what would be a good motivating factor to get the Pestos and Bobs on the road.
Unless it's like a competition of some sort. Like they're on their way to like a convention or a competition.
Like beating Jimmy P to the Grand Canyon. So I don't think the Belchers are a national parks or monument kind of family.
They're definitely not a hiking family, but I could see them stopping at some of these things, like the landmarks taking pictures, like the big dinosaur from Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure, or like the biggest ball of twine. Like Louise loves those roadside attractions. So that could be part of the trip, is they stop at a lot of these things, and the people that meets. Tina might get a little boy crazy. That could be a fun little plot to explore, as well as that. It could be the family's going on a road trip, and maybe that's like a concert kind of thing for boys for now, and Tina won tickets or something, have to take her there.
I'm like, I have ideas, but it seems more small-minded for like an episode. Like maybe Tina finally gets to go to New York, but that's more of an episode thing.
Yeah, everyone's like, no, New York. Every movie's in New York.
Yeah, every movie's in New York, but I mean, they're in New Jersey. They can't travel far.
Hates Canada. Someone's just go to Canada.
Oh, nope. Between the Couch and the Knife Machine, as long as it's not them being sent to New York as movie set, maybe a trip to Alaska or something. See, the problem is, and like we'd love to send the fucking Belchers to the moon, but you got to remember, essentially, they're poor.
Yeah.
They could go to New York. That's literally
because it's doable. It's just
an hour away. Yeah. They could drive to Florida, it seems. I would like not the road trip to Florida, but maybe the road trip back to New Jersey. Like we're heading home, because obviously at that point they have a final stop. Like we're going all the way back to Jersey. Maybe they have to pick something up from maybe Linda's parents pass away, and they have to go down there and they have to pick something up. And then Linda's like, hey, my parents always wanted to make this drive. How about we make it with our family? And that's the movie. Because obviously at that point we end in Seymour's Bay. We could see Pesto, Teddy, and all of them at the end.
Maybe that's part of the fun thing, is that like they do that trip and the car just like rolls in front of the restaurant, just like falls apart. And then they're like, that's that. But then the will gets read and they're like, oh, they left you a bunch of money. And it's like, maybe you can go get a new car.
Yeah, maybe this is where their car finally like craps the bed on them.
Yeah. Because their phones got upgraded in the last movie. Maybe it's time for the car to get upgraded in this movie.
It'd be nice. Now New York size, you would literally. No, there's never going to be a crossover. Central Park is dead.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that. And then
Plus
I don't know if they'll do Stranded on an Island. Bob would not do. He's a camper, but he's not.
yeah. Plus they couldn't do a crossover because
They don't own it.
yeah, they don't own it. Maybe they go to Florida, live with his parents. Yeah, government secrets. Don't know what that means.
What if it's a so you guys love the Lily thing, and we like, does it need to be involved? I could see it being. What if it's a trip? It's a two-parter. There's an A and B, and it's the kids and Linda are back home working the restaurant, and it's a road trip with Bob and Big Bob to go do the road trip that him and Lily did as kids.
I personally,
I know you'd hate it.
Hate that. I would hate that so much. Big Bob as a character is not a fun watch. He's not. And to watch two people just be miserable in a car for 45 minutes, their half of the movie, would be so painful.
We've done it though.
Where?
A Goofy movie. They literally are just like the whole first half of the movie is miserable. It's just all the random stuff that happens that makes it fun. And then finally he gets a little soft side and actually like figures out that him and his dad are not horrible together.
But the world of a Goofy movie and the world of Bob's Burgers are two different things.
They are, but it's more, can Big Bob finally break out of that shell?
Yeah, but the 45 minutes leading up to that of them just having one-word conversations and Bob not being able to.
Then do we just bring Big Bob along with the family trip?
Leave, like, what would be in your scenario, what would be the catalyst to get Bob and Big Bob on a road trip?
More or less for him to kind of like basically, I guess, just have a better relationship with his dad, just to make the episodes that they are together better.
I would argue if they couldn't make it work in any of the previous episodes, then I don't think forcing them into a car, like essentially they hashed it out when Bob was talking through the shell. He was kind of saying what he couldn't say to his dad.
Yeah.
So they essentially did that already. And it's not like Big Bob is going to all of a sudden become a, oh, shucks kind of guy. And then they're like, oh, we're the best of friends anymore. So that I just don't think there's much to Big Bob.
Maybe he is more flat than we think.
Oh, he is flatter than the earth. I'm joking. Imagine Linda's parents and Big Bob. I personally, if you ask me, I don't care, and this is a hot take, but I don't care for the parents, like either Linda's parents or Bob's parents. I don't care. It's nice that we have them, and that we kind of figure it out, and like, oh, that's okay, that's an answer to a question. But I don't need Lily's story. I don't. It doesn't. It'd be another one-off, and it doesn't really add much. I don't think we're going to find out another facet of Bob. Like flashbacks are fine. If you want a quick little, hey, here they were. She taught him how to cook his first burger or something. That'd be fine. But like a whole episode or a movie, I couldn't see that. Plus, you got to do the balance of getting the hardcore fans in and getting people who've never seen the show.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, short of doing like a horror themed one, like a Halloween fall kind of thing, I guess summer would have to be your go-to because they're kids. And like you said, summer is for kids. It's Jersey. So it only makes sense to do a summer one, I guess.
But I like your idea of a winter one because the theater schedule is lighter in the winter because Bob's had to compete with Top Gun, and that was a hard pill to swallow.
Oh, okay. I got to push back on that. I have to push back on that. Bob's was never competing with Top Gun.
Well, no, they just came out the same weekend.
They came out the same weekend, but they were never competition with each other. That'd be like saying Top Gun and the Barbie movie came out at the same time, and those audiences were fighting with each other to see which movie they would go to. The people going to see Top Gun most of the time ain't going to see the Barbie movie. They're two totally different audiences. So there was no way that Bob's was ever competing with Top Gun.
That's true.
Yeah. Plus, the folks who went to go see or would be the primary target to go see a Bob's movie were still pretty scared to go out into a theater at that point. We were still in the midst of COVID, and not making it political, but most of the people who went to go see Top Gun didn't really give a shit.
That is very true.
Yeah, because we heard it from a bunch of folks who said, I haven't seen the movie yet because I can't go to a theater. The anxiety is too much. So yeah, that's not what hurt them. That's not what hurt them. Maybe a relative dies and they get left money for a trip somewhere, and that's how a distant place could link in. What do you think about that? Oh, JB doesn't think about it. JB does not care for your idea there, AJ. He said he'd rather log off than hear your idea. That is how much your idea was not good.
No, it actually is a good idea, but
Bob's was its own thing. Bob's might as well have been an art film. It was. I think Lauren really pushing it to be in theaters. Let's face it, that was mainly he wanted that for the cast and crew, and the audience. Anybody else probably would have just put it straight to streaming. I do wonder what the numbers were like once it hit streaming, if it kind of found its audience a little more there. But
we also have to remember the movie was supposed to come out years before that. It got delayed because of the pandemic.
I think it was supposed to come out in 2017.
I think it's supposed to come out right after season 10.
Yeah.
Right at like when they said they were at their like height in popularity, and it was like it made sense, and they had greenlit it a few years before that, and like it should be right after that.
Yeah, but the pandemic
it did give them time to build up like the sidewalk crumbling and lead into it, but no, they were ready to go in earlier.
Yeah, the pandemic really did a number on the movie, unfortunately. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I would think another summer movie, but it would have to be playing off the tropes of other summer movies. Yeah, like maybe Jaws, or we had that with The Deepening. We can't
but I think if you sneak in small pieces of it, it's fine. I think it plays to that. Like you can sneak in like Pee-wee's Big Adventure. You can sneak in Vacation. You can sneak in other things and make it fun, because people will see those connections and be like, oh, that's kind of fun. It's just their own take on it.
Yeah. I was trying to think of like a way, because Bob obviously never wants to shut down the restaurant. He didn't shut it down when the sinkhole happened. So what would cause him to shut it down? Obviously something happening to the building, maybe another thing that forces them to do a grand reopening. But essentially that's what happened in the last movie, because they made it to the new credits. I don't know, without jumping the shark, I don't know what story you tell that is worthy of a movie.
I think it does have to be something that basically the money piece is a big part, because they're not going to close down without the money. So I like the idea of someone giving them money. It could be like Warren Fitzgerald. It could be a relative. It could be something. So it needs to have that backing. Otherwise, it will be a hard sell for Bob to leave for an extended period of time.
I think a good story, there's not really a lot of intrigue or like danger behind it, but like maybe they're looking to move the restaurant. Like maybe they're looking at a new location. But then why would they leave Ocean Avenue? It's the busiest street in the city.
They could be on the street literally like at the end of the street is the wharf. What if they were right between the wharf and the baseball field? Like that's prime location. What if it is something where like Jimmy Pesto, it's gotten to the point that Jimmy's done something where he's like, I don't want to be here anymore. And Bob's like, I want out.
But what could
I
that?
don't know. Like Calvin pushes something, and he's just like, if you're not gonna fix any of this stuff, then. And then maybe Mr. Fishoder has a change of heart finally. He goes through all the times that Bob has saved his ass, and he's like, oh, maybe I should have been a little bit nicer to him.
No, well, he saved him from a murder charge, and all he gave him was like free rent.
Yeah, he gave him, what was it? The amount that they needed to pay off the
loan or whatever.
Equipment.
Yeah, so I don't really think Fishoder has much of a sentimental bone for Bob, regardless of what he's done for him multiple times at this point. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know if there is a story to tell, because in the first one, again, you've already shut down the restaurant, or you have attempted to shut down the restaurant. Unless it's just a kid-centric movie, I don't know what story you can tell. Like eventually, occasionally we'll cut back to the restaurant and Bob and Linda are like, have you seen the kids? Nope. And then boom, that's really it. But I don't know how big of a story you can tell without shutting down the restaurant. And in that case, seeming like you're just rehashing the first movie.
It's true. I mean, what if it was something where like the kids are away at a camp and something happens and the Bob and Linda try to go get them. And Jimmy and all the other parents are trying to get their kids out of this. Maybe there's a disaster or something.
I wouldn't mind the camping twist to it, but the only thing I would change is the parents don't know about it. So it's the kids trying to essentially
find the way back
or whatever predicament they find themselves in, but the parents are unaware.
Show up somehow back at Ocean Avenue.
Yeah.
Like taking a bus, walking, hiking. So, I mean, it is like a Stand By Me, but with all the kids.
Yeah.
That could be kind of fun, them camping and stuff on their own, having to deal with situations.
Yeah, I would like to see more of the kids in a sequel.
Oh, yeah, AJ, like a Home Alone spinoff, but more of a road trip kind of thing.
Wait, how would that work?
Because like instead of like them being left alone at the restaurant, they've been left alone to kind of. It's almost like a Homeward Bound, I guess, is a better explanation for that.
I'll say they just set traps in a car. That doesn't make sense.
Yes.
But yeah, it's weird because you can't have a Bob's movie without Bob and Linda. So I guess you got to figure out a B plot for them. But I don't know. I mean, essentially, the A plot of the first movie was the kids solving a murder. The B plot was Bob and Linda dealing with the restaurant.
Could it be that they actually realized that they missed the kids?
I don't think that's strong enough.
And maybe they go to, no, like maybe they miss them and they go get them and they're not there. And they're like, where are the kids? And they're like, oh, we don't know. They're like, oh, where's the kids? So they're like looking for them. They're always just a step behind them. And Teddy tags
that doesn't seem like something Bob would do. I mean, they sent Tina away to horse camp.
But that was a day camp. She came.
They also sent the kids away. They fired the kids. Like I don't know. I just don't see.
Because this is like they're gone for like a week.
But unless they find out that they're in danger, I don't see them rushing up there just because they miss them.
I guess it's not Bob. I think that would miss them. Maybe it's Linda more. I'm trying to find the reason to drop Linda and Bob.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I mean, if we were in a pitch meeting, this would be so difficult to like pitch an idea. Like something that could A, stretch for 90 minutes, and B, be intriguing enough all the way through. Because, I mean, if you would ask me, I wouldn't have thought of Bob's Burgers murder mystery would have been the first one. Obviously, we got to keep it grounded. We can't go to space.
Mm-hmm. No, we can't do that kind of stuff.
So I don't know. I mean, I think we keep coming back to like a road trip thing, which would be fun. But yeah, I don't know. I think a road trip back to New Jersey. Lord of the
I think
Lord of the
it
Flies.
ends well if they go
Yeah,
back.
Lord of the Flies situation. That was essentially the Escape from Witch Mountain episode.
Yeah.
Jimmy goes crazy and kidnaps the kids. No.
No, we can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. This is much respect to people who pitch movies, especially sequels. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Because do you need Calvin involved at some point? Because people love the fish odors. Do they need to be involved in this at some point or somehow?
I mean, it could be as simple as like a throwaway scene where he goes to collect the rent and the lights are all off, and he's like, "Did I evict them?"
Yeah, that's good
Yeah.
enough. Honestly, it's a good enough joke.
And he's like,
And then maybe they show back up, and he's literally showing the property to someone else. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and he's like,
looking at the store next door, Bob.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that's how you get the fish
Your rent is due.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we didn't figure anything out here. They just figured out how hard it is to pitch a movie.
I think we did. I do like the idea. I think the road trip is the best idea. I do think coming back to Ocean Avenue makes the most sense. Whether it's the kids finding their way back or the whole family is on a trip coming back and it's the story of the whole thing coming back.
It's wild. We have the ending in place. We have little bits, but we just need to tell a story in between there, which seems very hard.
Yep, we need 4 hours worth of script.
Yes,
and whittle it down.
Yeah. But it sounds like the catalyst would be them visiting Linda's parents for good reasons or bad, and then having to drive all the way back.
Yeah,
they can't afford to fly.
I think that makes sense.
Well, I don't know. I don't think we're going to figure it out tonight, but it was a fun discussion, of course. Who knows? Maybe next week we'll report back and we'll have some ideas. But
someday we'll get there.
But yeah, that was this week's discussion. If you have any discussions you would like me and JB to kind of hash out amongst ourselves, shoot us a DM. Send us an email at from north to wharf at gmail.com. I think is the email. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I've hit a mind block for ideas. Yeah, it's not as easy as it looks. As you can see, we kind of ran in place there for about 30 minutes. But yeah, little housekeeping. We have a Patreon. Of course, each week we upload a new video. Normal YouTube videos, Patreon members get a week early. For those of you at our $10 level, which is just one of you, I believe, which is fine. I'm not going to shame anybody. You have fan commentary, which is exclusive to you. Those will never be on YouTube, and those are strictly for you. Other perks that paying members get, you find out about guests much sooner than everybody else. At the $3 level, you have the ability to submit questions. We will review them. And if we want to put them in, we'll put them in, credit given, of course. At the $10 level, you do get guaranteed question asked with credit given, of course. And then each level gets a yearly gift in the December time frame from us. Each year will be different. So like this year will be year 1, whatever the gift may be, and then next year 2, and so on and so forth. And yeah, beyond that, I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think that you covered all the bases on that.
What if they infiltrated NASA and got a hold of a rocket or shuttle and Luis pilots them into space? All right, Cello, you go to bed.
You go to fun, but Lauren likes it grounded. I don't think he'd let us.
Yeah, have you seen the show? But yeah, let's see. We have trivia on the 26th, I believe it is.
Yes.
And then that's really and then if you haven't seen our Instagram yet, we are running a contest. That'll be announced next Monday. The winner will be announced next Monday. We're giving 5 issues of the Bob's Burgers comic book away. All you have to do to enter that is go to the pinned photo on our Instagram page, tag a friend. You and the friend must be following us. And the winner will be chosen, and it's up to you how you want to divide the comics. That's on you. We're just mailing it to one person. You figure it out.
Yeah.
Open only to stateside followers because it's expensive.
Sorry, guys, across the world. Just can't.
That's your problem, not ours. Let's see. Okay. Well, this has been from the Great North to Wonder Wharf, your unofficial but verified one-stop destination for bento box information. On behalf of Sam, I am Mike.
And
And
I'm
we will see
JB.
you next week. Good night, everyone.